Hey there, it's Lucas Catton again. And today I wanted to share actually a little bit of story with you about when I finally quit smoking cigarettes or anything for that matter. But and I do this not because I'm condemning anyone who does. In fact, I have friends and family members and coworkers and lots of people around in general that do. But for those who maybe don't want to anymore or have tried and some ways weren't successful for them, that maybe something within my story could be helpful for you. And if nothing else, especially as we're coming up on New Year's pretty soon, that people are going to be making some different resolutions, and one of the top ones is to quit smoking. So for those of you who would like to, and are looking for some possible tips, maybe something here can help. Anyways, for me, I think I was 34 when I quit. Um, and I'd smoked for really at that point pretty much half my life. And I tried to quit one other time, and I didn't really want to. I felt like I was kind of forced to, and it wasn't for the right reason. It lasted about a month, and kind of cheated in between there and stuff, and so it didn't stick. But here I was, 34, and I'd made a pact with myself kind of this whole time that as soon as I started to feel it affect my health, that I would stop, and that was something that I had to kind of really remain honest with myself with, and and so I had gotten a cold, and I it was lingering on too long. And prior to this, I'd get colds and stuff, and I'd heal fine, and it was fine. There were times where I didn't enjoy it or whatever, but I could always, for example, continue exercising if I chose to exercise, or never really, it didn't seem to get in the way of living. And then here I was, getting on in my 30s, and I'd gotten this cold, and it was lingering, and I felt that I just wasn't getting better, and I could tell within myself that the smoking caused me to stay sick longer, and that I knew that it was time. And for me, I was ready to do that and make that decision. And so I had this plan, and I am a coffee drinker. I enjoy coffee. I've cut back, certainly in recent years as well. But coffee and cigarettes always went together, and I had devised this plan of, if I enjoyed smoking, I had to make it unenjoyable. And how could I do that? So I decided that my last few cigarettes would be without coffee or without any other thing to drink as well. And I did it while I was sick too. So um, I remember it was still pretty chilly outside too, and I think I'm gonna say it was March, February or March that year, whatever. And and so I had three cigarettes left, and I said, okay, these are my last three. And I remember going outside and deliberately, lighting the cigarette and smoking it, and it tasted terrible. And I coughed again afterwards, and it was awful. I had to wash my hands, and the smell was on it. And I was like, that's it. There's that one. And then later that day, I went out and I had one more, and I think it was nighttime, and and kind of the same thing. It was freezing outside, and it was not an enjoyable thing at all. And I didn't have coffee with me, and it was like, bah. And then the next day, the last one, I looked down. I said, all right, this is my last one. And I did. I went outside, and it was cold, and I was still sick. And I smoked without coffee, and it was, for me, it was repulsive at that point. I really succeeded in making it an unenjoyable experience. And the decision, the desire to do it for myself and to make it unenjoyable combined for me to go, okay, here I am. So the next part was getting past the cravings. And what a lot of people don't realize, who never smoked before, was really how awesome it feels to get that hit of nicotine, especially when you're agitated or feel like you need to calm down, or get some space or whatever, right? There's a little rush that hits you, and you calm down. And I missed that. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this? And I remember reading somewhere that nicotine withdrawal lasted roughly about 72 hours. And so I thought, okay, if I can make it through 3 days, then I've got this. And what a lot of people don't realize who have quit smoking, or I'm sorry, who want to quit smoking and haven't been successful, is that the nicotine itself, those withdrawal symptoms or that nic fit that starts to kick in, it becomes exaggerated or exacerbated by the nicotine itself. So when you were previously, I know this for me, when I was previously irritated and felt like I needed a cigarette, it was made worse because I was craving. Whereas once I found out afterwards that those times of feeling like I needed something to calm me down weren't nearly as bad because I didn't have the nicotine fueling it from the other side. I wasn't desiring to escape situations and go smoke, or having intense cravings anymore after this 3-day period. And what I've also kept on since then is that a good deep breath has tremendous natural calming ability in itself. And those were the things that I initially started to adopt, was that when I felt like I needed something to calm me down, I could take 1 or 2 deep breaths, and it always worked. And that as long as I stayed true to myself, that I really did want to see this through, and that I didn't want to feel that way anymore, and I didn't want to smoke anymore, and I continued on with that, then that worked for me. And sure enough, once I got past the 72 hours, then the cravings got a little bit less. Once I got past a week, then the cravings got less, and then a month, and then a year. Next thing you know, it's been over 7 years. And I was talking with someone the other day and congratulated them for their efforts to quit and successes in it, and knowing how difficult that is. I mean, some people think that nicotine is the hardest habit to break out there, and sometimes I would agree with that, and other times I'm sure there's arguments for plenty of other things. So anyways, if there's anything in there that could be helpful to you, I hope so. If you have any questions, or if you want to reach out to me directly or anything like that, please feel free to. You can hit me up at lucascatton.com. I look forward to sharing some more stuff with you. If you have quit, or if you've had trouble quitting or anything like that, please feel free to comment or message or anything. And I'd love to hear some tips from you, and maybe you have something that could help someone else who's also looking to quit. So I wish you a very happy holidays. I wish you a wonderful new year coming up, and good luck in your endeavors.